Hi, today I'll be demonstrating the CumuLogic Database-as-a-Service software platform, and specifically focusing on how CumuLogic can provide an RDS-like experience across public and private clouds. The CumuLogic software provides Database-as-a-Service, supporting MySQL, Percona, MongoDB, and Couchbase. It supports multiple public clouds, as well as several private cloud options, including Citrix Cloud Platform. Users are able to log into the web console or through an API interact with the software. Within the web console, it's easy for them to launch a new database by simply going through a two-page wizard. In this wizard, they're able to describe the name of the instance they'd like to deploy. They're able to select the database engine. In this case, we're looking at the relational database capabilities, and so we see both MySQL and Percona. If we were deploying NoSQL, we would have the option of deploying Couchbase or MongoDB. I'll select Percona Extra DB cluster. Now this is where CumuLogic supports a hybrid cloud configuration. You can see here that I can deploy to either Amazon EC2 or to a cloud platform-based private cloud environment. Based on the target cloud that's been enabled for the user and based on their selection, the next choice is to select the availability zone that the database instance will be pushed into. You then select the size of the nodes that will make up members of the cluster. You have the option of adding multiple availability zone support. That includes automated failover based on DNS endpoint changes. You can tag the database instance. In this case, we'll tag it as development. We could change the network access policy. We'll allow the defaults to apply. And we can take the number of nodes from 3 to 4 or even higher. Next, we get into some of the database-specific details. And so we'll provide the name of a database as demo. We'll create a user demo. And we'll create a password for the user within that database system. We could choose to modify the character set and the port that the cluster will be listening on. The second page of the configuration is very simple. We have the option of selecting a parameter group, which would allow for fine-tuning of various configuration options. You can also decide how much storage you're going to attach to the cluster. We can enable backup services that would be managed by CumuLogic's controller. We can allow for maintenance window support, which would allow the end user to select when minor versions are deployed. You can also enable SSL for the cluster itself. By clicking Submit, we get an option to review what's going to be provisioned, and the software will take care of provisioning it on your behalf. Here you can see that I have one database instance previously deployed. It's a 3-node cluster deployed to Amazon using instance type M1 small. I have a couple of options available to me for self-service management. That includes terminating, modifying the configuration, restarting the entire environment, cloning the entire database cluster. That includes both the configuration as well as all of the data. We can add nodes to the cluster. We can add additional storage, enable SSL, or configure thresholds, which will allow for email-based alert notifications based on certain capacity metrics. Also, we're able to get read access into details of the configuration itself, any provisioning events and automation events that are occurring for the cluster. Access details include information about the host names that are members of the cluster, username and passwords. We can get usage metrics if we had loaded data into this environment, as well as pull back any of the logs, MySQL, slow query, general query logs from any specific host in that cluster. The software also provides the opportunity to build read-only replicas. It supports snapshots, both automated and on demand. For any snapshot that's been created, you can do point-in-time restoration. We have monitoring graphs, parameter group creation, and network access policy control.